So maybe you're sitting there thinking, Stacy, I want to fuel my body. I want to lose weight, but I'm standing in my kitchen at 5 p.m. and I have no idea what to eat. My friend, I hear this all the time. And today I'm sharing my simplest strategies for meal planning when you have zero ideas, zero time, and zero energy to figure it all out. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, my wonderful friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, I want to send you an extra special and warm welcome. I am so glad that you found us, and I am so glad that you are here. Now, today we're talking about meal planning. And I know that we've touched on this before. All the way back in, I think, episode 6, I shared why planning your meals is such a game changer for weight loss and for fueling your body. But here's what I've been hearing from so many of you since then, both in the biking wellness community, as well as in other cycling communities that I'm in. You've been saying, okay, Stacy, I get it. I should plan, but I don't know what to plan. I'm staring at my fridge and I have no idea what to make. And listen, I've been there too, standing in the kitchen, completely fried from the day, trying to figure out what to eat. My brain's done making decisions and I just need somebody to tell me what to do. So today I'm not talking about why we need to plan. We already covered that, but I want to talk about how to actually plan your meals when you're stuck, when you're tired, and when you have zero ideas and just need something simple that is going to work. And real quick, before we get into the strategies, I do want to let you know that I'm opening just 3 spots for one-on-one coaching with me this week. So if you've been wanting some personalized help with your meal planning, with weight loss, with managing your workouts, this is your chance. I'll tell you more at the end of the episode, but email me at Stacy, S-T-A-C-Y, at sassy, SASCY.com, or DM me on Instagram at SASCY Cycling with the word interested if you want to grab one of those spots before they are gone. Okay, so here's the problem. Decision fatigue is real. And here's what happens when you don't have a plan. You know, you're standing in your kitchen, you're exhausted, you've already made a million decisions today, and now you have to figure out what to eat for dinner, what to make for dinner. And so you default to whatever's easiest, whether it be takeout, pantry, leftovers. And there's nothing wrong with that sometimes. But when it's happening every single day, you're not fueling your body the way you want to, and you're adding a lot of additional stress to your life. Or maybe you do cook something and you come up with a plan, but then you're eating at 7 p.m. You had wanted to go for a walk or get on your bike or go to the gym, and now you're trying to move on a full stomach and you're just not motivated, you're feeling sluggish, and you're wondering why all of this is just so hard. Well, the issue isn't that you don't want to eat well. Of course you want to eat well. It's that deciding what to eat just takes so much mental energy when you're already tapped out and running on empty. And that's why having this simple system makes all the difference. And I'm going to share with you the strategies that I use all of the time to meal plan. So the first strategy I have for you is to start with your movement. And here's what I mean. The first thing I do when I'm planning my meals for the week is I look at my calendar and I ask myself, when am I moving my body? What do my workouts look like this week? Because here's the thing. If you're moving regularly, whether it be biking, walking, strength training, hiking, whatever your thing is right now, your meals need to support that movement, not work against it. So let me tell you a little bit of a story. I was on a group bike ride once and I had a friend who was kind of struggling and was like, I just don't have it today. And so I asked her, well, what did you eat today? And she said, well, I had a salad for lunch. And then she was trying to do a 2-hour bike ride after having a salad for lunch. And here's what happens sometimes, when we're trying to lose weight and when we're health conscious, sometimes we're tempted to skip carbs, to avoid carbs because we think that they're going to make us gain weight. But we need carbs. They are our fuel for our activities. And if you're doing a 2-hour workout, you're going to need to make sure you have some kind of carb and protein combo about an hour before. Even just like half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is perfect. And she wouldn't have been struggling so much if she had packed a little snack like some peanut butter and crackers or something that she could eat towards the end of her workday about an hour before the ride. So when I'm planning my meals, I look at when I'm moving and I plan around that. So if you have a workout or a ride planned at 6 p.m., you're going to know that you need to have lunch probably by 1 or 2 at the latest, and you're probably going to need some kind of snack that is going to fuel you through the activity as well. And, not just a salad, it has to kind of have a little bit more substance to it. Your movement is going to dictate how you fuel. So that is strategy 1 and where to start. Now, strategy 2 is to kind of keep a running list of your meals and use it strategically. So this has been a game changer for me. I have made a list of about 10 to 15 meals that I already know how to make that are kind of my go-tos that I actually enjoy eating. These aren't necessarily these fancy Pinterest-worthy creations. They're just things that I've made that are simple and satisfying and work for me and my life. So for things like, for me, it'll be like chicken noodle soup, stir fry, breakfast wraps, chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie, pasta and sauce, just really kind of simple things. That's it. Nothing complicated. And when I'm stuck and I don't know what to plan, I will pull out the list and just pick something from it without, overthinking it. And here's where I've actually kind of made it even easier on myself. Sometimes I'll just actually throw it all into ChatGPT and give it instructions like, I need, 3 meals to generate leftovers this week. I need 3 meals that don't, and please mix it up and give me a plan for the next 2 weeks. And boom, it's done. And it's not always perfect, and sometimes I have to tweak things, but it's something. And I actually have a funny story about this. My husband walked in once while I was doing this and was all like, hey, what you up to? And when I told him, he looked at me like I had lost my mind. But the thing is that he has no idea the mental gymnastics that I go through every week to get meals on the table. And actually, he kind of does now, because after that conversation, he has taken over the planning and execution and cooking of 1 meal a week when I'm at baseball lessons with our son until 5:30 on Wednesday nights. And that has been so helpful, which is something that I need to share with you. You can ask for help if you have another adult in the house, anyone who's old enough to use the stove. I was lucky that my husband just kind of offered, but if meal planning for you, for your family is overwhelming, ask for help. Ask your partner, ask your teenagers. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Now, one more thing about planning family meals. I don't really worry about what we're having for dinner. I don't think about, calories and is it super healthy? We have pasta, shepherd's pie, chicken pot pie, whatever. I just make sure that I always have salad mixings on hand and a veggie side so that I can eat that along with whatever we're having. And then I fill half my plate with the salad. We don't need separate meals for ourselves and our families when we're trying to lose weight. You just need to make sure that you have other options that you can add on that will help you meet your goals. And one of the biggest mistakes I see women making is thinking that they need to cook this brand new meal every single night. No, you do not. If I'm making dinner on Sunday, then I'm going to make enough so that there's some leftovers for Monday for lunch, for my husband, possibly me as well, those sorts of things. So you don't have to cook a new meal every single night. And this is just, it might be a little bit boring, but that's okay. It's efficient, and efficiency is what we are going for here. So that was strategy number 2. Now, strategy number 3, and you may have heard me talk about this before, is that I have the same thing for breakfast and lunch all week long. Okay, I know it can be boring, but trust me, it just makes things so much simpler. Consider having the same thing for breakfast and lunch every day, or even just one or other of those, at least for 1 week. And yeah, it sounds monotonous, but it removes so much decision fatigue. So for me, I normally have a wrap for breakfast every single day. And then for lunch, I either have soup or stir fry with rice. And I will try to make that lunch on the weekend on Sundays if possible. I can batch cook a big pot of soup or make a bunch of stir fry. And if I don't have time to do that, then I'll just buy store-bought soup. There's nothing wrong with that from time to time, or even all the time if that's what works for you. Your breakfast and your lunch do not need to be exciting. They just have to fuel you. And dinner can be where you have a little more variety if you want, but keep it simple for breakfast and lunch. Keep it the same if you can. It's one less thing to think about. All right, so strategy number 4, when you are truly stuck, just use a simple, basic template. So let's say you're sitting down to plan your week and you still have no idea what to put on there. Here's what I do. I just keep it super simple. I will write, breakfast, protein plus carb, wrap, whatever works for you, done. Lunch, protein, veggie, carb. For me, it's soup, stir fry with rice, maybe a salad with chicken and, some croutons or some kind of carb on there. Keep it simple. Snack, something satisfying, apple and peanut butter. I like to do nuts and chips, whatever you enjoy. Dinner, again, protein, veggie, carb, chicken and vegetables, pasta with marinara sauce. You don't have to make it super complicated. And then dessert, something you actually want. A couple pieces of chocolate is what I often have. Ice cream, which is delicious, maybe a couple cookies, whatever. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every single day, and you don't need to make it complicated. Just fill in the protein, carb, veggie template, and that will help tremendously. So here's the thing, and here's what I want you to know. For the first week of planning, it's going to probably feel harder than it will down the road. It gets so much easier because once you have your go-to meals on lock, once you know what works for your body and your movement, planning should only take you about 5 minutes. It should not take you that long. And that 5 minutes will save you hours of decision fatigue, of stress, of standing in front of your fridge like you're waiting for dinner to magically appear. When you go in with a plan, even if it's a plan that you made that morning, then you are just so much more prepared. I will tell you, there are times where I wake up in the morning and one of the first things I think about is, what are we having for dinner tonight? Did I plan dinner tonight? I already know what I'm having for breakfast and lunch, but let me get dinner squared away because if I didn't do it earlier in the week, I can do it now, and then I'm not going to be scrambling at the end of the day. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, Stacey, this sounds great, but I still don't know what works for my body, my schedule, my life. I need help figuring that out. I hear you. That is exactly why I'm opening just 3 spots for one-on-one coaching with me this week. And I'm keeping it to just 3 because I really want to make sure that everyone gets the attention they deserve that I work with. So I really only have room for 3 additional people this week. And here's what you get. I am going to create a personalized meal plan for you. I'm going to chat with you and find out what sorts of things you like, what sorts of activity you do, and I'm going to help you create a plan that fits your life, your preferences, your goals, and your movement schedule. So no guesswork, no generic templates, just a simple plan that actually works for you. You're also going to get weekly check-ins with me, daily text and email support, and someone in your corner making sure that you stay on track for 30 days. This is a 30-day package. Actually, it's actually a really low barrier to entry if you've never worked with a coach before, or if you're not really ready to commit to something longer term. Normally, this kind of personalized support is part of my 12-week coaching package, but I'm offering just a 30-day experience so that you can just kind of get your feet wet and see if it's something that you enjoy. And again, I only have 3 spots and that's it. And once they're filled because I need to give everyone their full individual attention. So if you want one of these spots, please email me at stacy@sassy.com. That's STACY@SASCY.com. Or DM me on Instagram at Sassy Cycling. That's SASCY Cycling with the word interested. And we can talk about whether or not this is the right fit for you, okay? Oh, my friend. Here's what we covered today. First of all, strategy number 1, start with your movement and plan your meals around that when you're working out so your food is actually fueling you and fueling your body. Also, number 2, keep a running list of go-to meals and use them strategically. Plan for leftovers, let ChatGPT help you mix it up if you want, and make sure you ask people in your house for help and see, even if they can just give you ideas, that is so helpful and so useful. Another strategy is to consider having the same breakfast and lunch all week. It just removes so much decision fatigue. And when you're stuck, use a simple template, protein, veggie, carb, done. Meal planning doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to work for you. Pick one strategy from today's episode and try it this week. Try implementing it to make your life easier. You've got this, and I'm here, and I'm cheering for you every step of the way. Talk soon. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, SASCY.com/guide, to get my completely free Lose Weight Biking Quick Start Guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's SASCY.com/guide.